Meanwhile, I want to turning to new developments this morning in the Jeff Bezos text scandal, a wild story. Federal prosecutors say that Bezos' girlfriend, Lauren Sanchez, sent the texts to her brother, who then sold them to the National Enquirer. The details revealed as part of a probe into whether the National Enquirer's parent company attempted to extort Bezos. Joining us right now is Fox News senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, good to see you.
Good morning.
And for 2 weeks, we're talking about the Saudi crown prince hacking his phone.
Now, the FBI is not saying that the Saudi crown prince did not hack the phone, but the FBI and federal prosecutors are offering another theory, which they say they have evidence to support, as to how these pictures of Jeff Bezos and his friend, Ms. Sanchez, got out there. Of course, the brother, Sanchez's brother, saying the Wall Street Journal has it wrong and I didn't do all this. He's naturally going to say that because he still has a relationship with his sister. Now, why do we care about this? Well, we care about it because falsely reporting information to the federal government, to or law enforcement sources, is a very serious issue. Falsely trying to pin this on a foreign national, a foreign government, the head of a foreign country, is a very serious issue. Whatever it is, the FBI has taken it seriously, and this is a serious investigation. They usually don't show their cards midstream in an investigation. Nobody's been charged with anything. If this happened the way the federal government now says it happened, there's no crime. There's betrayal by the brother of Sanchez's girlfriend, but there's no crime.
These are pictures of Jeff Bezos naked.
Yes.
Yeah, these are the texts.
Yes. So if she gave them to her brother was free to do with them as he saw fit, without violating any criminal statute. So. Does the federal government care about interfamilial betrayal? No. But they do care about whether or not the report to them that the Saudi prince was behind this is accurate or not. The feds don't like to be sent on a wild goose chase.
By the way, I heard that they were together at the alfalfa dinner this Saturday night. I don't think he's mad at his girlfriend for sending those pictures of him to her brother.
They were just at the Taj Mahal. I saw those pictures this morning, and they're about 3 days old.
Yeah. All right, there's this. How about this? A celebrity lawyer, Michael Avenatti, got to get your take on this. He's facing legal troubles of his own. The extortion trial begins today. He's accused of trying to extort Nike for up to $25 million and also allegedly defrauding a basketball coach he represented. Now, Avenatti says he's innocent. He is saying that he's innocent of this, and Nike is denying his claims that the charges stem from retribution for Avenatti's attacks on President Trump.
Well, look, there is a tape of Avenatti threatening Nike. Now, lawyers can only go so far when they demand to settle a dispute. But the feds view a demand to settle as being extortionate when the amount demanded is totally out of proportion to whatever harm may have been caused. So where did he come up with the $25 million? It's a number he made up. Where was that $25 million going to go? Most of it was going to go directly to him and maybe a pittance to the basketball coach who he at the time represented, who claimed he was corrupted or the team was corrupted by Nike giving away its product. So you demand $25 million in a case that's worth $25,000. The feds are going to look at it as extortion. That's the essence of the case against him.
Is he in jail?
Yes, he is in jail, and this is very mysterious. He was arrested by IRS agents in the middle of a bar association hearing in Los Angeles, intended to take his license to practice law. He went to the men's room, and he never came back, and they whisked him in chains across the country. And the documents which formed the basis for the arrest are sealed. We don't even know what it is he was accused of doing that caused a federal judge in California to pull his bail, put him on a plane, and ship him here. He's in Lower Manhattan, in the same building where El Chapo was and Jeffrey Epstein. He's going to be brought to Westchester County, which is where the trial is, I believe. Probably there already.
I just want to point out that other television networks, CNN, MSNBC, they love to trot him out because everything that he ever had to say was against President Trump. He was anti-Trump, and they couldn't see. They were putting this man on television as if he was, well, legitimate. And look at what he's charged with.
Many people thought he was going to run for president.
This is the first of 3 criminal trials that he has coming up. The essence of all of them is financial shenanigans, extortion, stealing money from banks or clients.
And tax evasion, perhaps.
And tax evasion, of course, that's always in there.
But I get to quote General Chuck Yeager, to paraphrase, we might be raw and brash, but we can spot a phony before he ever says his first words.
Yeah. This the guy who was all over attacking President Trump during the Kavanaugh hearings as well. Judge,
Yes.
good to see you.
Pleasure,
Thank you,
guys.
Judge Andrew Napolitano.